all because of you. Wealth really does drive people insane.
It's 2 in the morning and I'm standing in my shower, running through firewall configurations in my head, when I hear Jessica's heels clicking on the bathroom tile. She never checks on me this late unless she wants something. "Just making sure you're still alive in there, honey," she calls through the glass door, her voice dripping with fake concern. I towel off and catch her rifling through my wallet on the counter. The platinum card I planted there yesterday is still tucked behind my driver's license, loaded with $50,000 of bait money. "Lost your morals in there?" I ask, wrapping the towel around my waist. She laughs that practiced influencer laugh and saunters out, her silk nightgown barely covering her surgically enhanced assets. I've been married to Jessica for 8 years, and I know exactly what that laugh means. She's planning something. My name is David Chen. Wait, scratch that. David Thompson. I'm 38, a cybersecurity expert who built his own firm from nothing. And I've got a suspicious mind that served me well in business. Tonight, it's about to serve me even better. I live in one of those glass and steel suburbs outside Phoenix where tech money meets old money, and everyone pretends they're not watching their neighbors through security cameras. Jessica loves it here because every surface reflects her image back at her. Me? I'd rather be in my garage workshop eating pizza and building custom computers. The next morning, I'm in my home office when the credit card alerts start pinging my phone. Nordstrom, 4,000. Saks, 8,000. Some boutique spa in Scottsdale, 12,000 for a luxury wellness package. By noon, she's burned through $49,700. I play dumb when she gets home, arms loaded with designer bags. "How was your shopping trip, babe?" "Oh, just picked up a few things for the charity gala next week." She kisses my cheek, leaving a lipstick mark. "I might need to go on a little girls' trip this weekend. Claudia wants to hit that new spa resort in Sedona." Claudia Martinez is Jessica's best friend and personal attorney, a sharp-tongued woman who's never liked me. Something about me being beneath Jessica's station. The feeling is mutual. "Sure thing. You deserve some relaxation." She beams at me, thinking she's fooled her tech nerd husband. What she doesn't know is that I've already hacked her phone, installed keyloggers on her laptop, and placed GPS trackers in all her new purses. If Jessica wants to play games, I'll show her what a real player looks like. She leaves Friday morning in a rented Tesla, claiming Claudia's picking her up. The GPS shows her driving straight to Sky Harbor Airport. Her phone pings from a first-class seat to Los Angeles, then goes dark for 6 hours before lighting up at the Beverly Hills Hotel. But here's the interesting part. Claudia's phone is pinging from her law office all weekend. Jessica's girls' trip is a solo adventure. Sunday night, she returns glowing and relaxed, spinning tales about mud baths and meditation sessions. I nod along, making appropriate husband noises while reading the hotel charges on my secondary monitoring system, room service for 2, champagne, and a line item that makes my blood boil. Private massage services, male therapist, in-room. "Sounds like you got the full treatment?" I say, not looking up from my laptop. "Oh, you have no idea. The masseur was incredible. Really knew how to work out all my tension." She stretches like a cat, showing off her yoga-toned body. "I might need to go back soon." That night, I find the text messages she thought she'd deleted, drunken messages to the hotel concierge. "Can you send that masseur to my room again?" The tall one with the accent. "And this time, make sure he's not wearing a shirt when he arrives." My inner voice is screaming, but I keep my face neutral. Jessica wants to play dirty, game on. The next morning, I make a call to my old friend, Derek Walsh. Derek's an ex-cop who runs a vehicle repossession business, and he owes me a favor from when I helped clear his son's credit after an identity theft. "I need you to repo a car," I tell him. "What's the address and plate number?" "It's in my own driveway, silver BMW, license plate. Jess 1 CA. Derek laughs. "Oh, this is going to be good." 2 hours later, I'm watching from my office window as Derek's tow truck pulls into our cul-de-sac. Jessica's having her morning yoga session in the backyard, posting Instagram stories about finding inner peace while wearing a $200 yoga outfit. Derek hooks up the BMW with professional efficiency. Before loading it onto the truck, he places a large magnetic sign on the windshield. "Cheater. Contents may include lies." Jessica's scream could shatter glass. She runs out in her yoga pants, phone already recording a live Instagram story that she'll regret later. Someone's stealing my car. This is insane. David, call the police." I walk out slowly, coffee mug in hand. "Actually, honey, I called them. Turns out when you use a credit card without permission and lie about where you're going, that's called fraud. The car was purchased with marital assets, so I'm exercising my right to secure it. The neighbors are gathering now, phones out, recording everything. Mrs. Patterson from across the street is practically salivating. This is better than her soap operas. "You can't do this!" Jessica shrieks, but Derek's already loading the BMW onto his truck. "Actually, I can. Community property laws are fascinating when you understand them." I take a sip of coffee. "Don't worry, I'm sure your massage therapist can give you a ride." Jessica's face goes white, then red, then purple. She realizes I know about Los Angeles. "We need to talk. Inside. Now." "I think we're past talking, Jess, but hey, at least you're getting great content for your social media." Derek drives away with the BMW, waving cheerfully. The crowd disperses, already texting their friends about the drama on Maple Grove Circle. Jessica storms inside, and I follow, ready for round 2. But before we can start fighting, a black Escalade pulls into our driveway with the aggressive confidence of a man who's used to getting his way. Jessica's father, Robert Kane, emerges like an angry bear in a $1,000 suit. This is about to get interesting. Robert Kane is 65 years old, 6'4", and built like a linebacker who traded his jersey for boardroom battles. He made his fortune in commercial real estate, the kind of old-school business where handshake deals and intimidation tactics still work. He's never liked me, viewing me as some upstart tech geek who corrupted his precious daughter with middle-class values. He storms through my front door without knocking, Jessica trailing behind him like a guilty child. "What the hell do you think you're doing, Thompson?" His voice booms through my living room, rattling the smart home speakers. "Protecting my assets, Bob. You taught me that, remember? Last Christmas when you explained how business really works?" His face darkens. "Don't get smart with me, boy. You embarrassed my daughter in front of the whole neighborhood." "Your daughter embarrassed herself. I just provided the stage." Robert steps closer, using his size to intimidate. It's a move that probably worked great in 1985, but I've dealt with corporate bullies before. I stand my ground, which seems to surprise him. "You're going to return that car, apologize to Jessica, and pretend this never happened. Then you're going to get some therapy for whatever mental breakdown you're having." "Or what?" "Or I'll make your life very difficult. Your little computer company depends on referrals, doesn't it? I know a lot of people in this town." Jessica watches our standoff with calculating eyes. She's probably wondering if she can spin this into content for her lifestyle blog, "When Family Drama Gets Real, How I Navigate Conflict with Grace." That sounds like a threat, Bob. It's a promise. He reaches out to grab my shoulder, probably planning to physically move me aside like he's done to countless business rivals. But I've been taking martial arts classes since Jessica started acting distant 6 months ago. Call it intuition. I sidestep his grab, and Robert's momentum carries him forward into my coffee table. His knee hits the glass top with a sickening crack. Not the table, his kneecap. He goes down hard, clutching his leg and screaming. Jessica rushes to his side, already dialing 911. "You attacked me!" Robert gasps between waves of pain. "Actually, you attacked me. I just moved out of the way." I point to the corner of the room. "Security camera caught the whole thing? Self-defense?" The ambulance arrives 15 minutes later, followed by 2 police officers who take statements. The security footage backs up my story. Robert clearly initiated physical contact. The officers leave without making any arrests, but not before one of them quietly tells me to watch my back with men like Robert Kane. As the paramedics load Robert into the ambulance, he locks eyes with me through the back window. "You'll regret this, Thompson." I wave goodbye with a smile that doesn't reach my eyes. "I hope your surgeon's as good as your daughter's divorce lawyer." Jessica rides to the hospital with her father, but not before hissing at me. "This isn't over." She's right, it's just beginning. While they're at the hospital, I get to work. Jessica's laptop is still open on the kitchen counter, logged into her email. Sloppy operational security, but then again, she never expected to marry someone who could crack NSA-level encryption before breakfast. Her email reveals the real story behind the Los Angeles trip. She's been corresponding with someone named Rico Valdez for 3 months. The messages start professional. He's apparently some kind of lifestyle consultant, but quickly turn personal, then intimate. Rico is 28, drives a Maserati, and claims to own a luxury car dealership in Scottsdale. His Instagram shows a carefully curated life of expensive restaurants, designer clothes, and exotic vacations. He's exactly the kind of shallow, pretty boy that would appeal to Jessica's image-obsessed worldview. The hotel charges make sense now. Jessica wasn't paying for massage services. She was paying Rico's room service bills while he played the role of mysterious stranger. The masseur story was just cover for her Instagram audience. But here's what Jessica doesn't know about her new boyfriend. Rico Valdez isn't who he claims to be. A simple background check reveals his real name is Richard Vance, and his luxury car dealership is actually a struggling used car lot with terrible Yelp reviews. The Maserati is leased, probably at an interest rate that would make a loan shark blush. Even better, Rico has a history. 3 previous relationships with wealthy older women, all ending badly when they discovered his lies. There's even a police report from his last girlfriend, alleging emotional manipulation and financial fraud. Jessica thinks she's found her upgrade from middle-class David. Instead, she's found a professional con artist who specializes in bored housewives with disposable income. I'm still processing this information when Derek calls. Your wife's car is secure in my lot. What do you want me to do with it? Keep it for now. I'm not done making my point. This is about more than a car, isn't it? Much more. Derek's been divorced twice, so he understands the game. Need any help with whatever you're planning? Actually, yes, I need you to do some surveillance work. There's a guy named Rico Valdez who owns a car lot in Scottsdale. I want to know his routine, his weaknesses, everything. Consider it done. What's the end game here, Dave? I look around my empty house, thinking about 8 years of marriage dissolving into lies and credit card receipts. I'm going to teach them both what happens when you try to con a cybersecurity expert. That evening, Jessica returns from the hospital with her arm in a sling. Apparently, she injured her shoulder helping her father. She's also carrying papers from Claudia's law firm. I'm filing for divorce, she announces, dropping the papers on my desk. And I'm suing you for attack and battery against my father. I flip through the paperwork. It's professionally prepared, which means Claudia's been working on this for a while. They planned this whole confrontation. Interesting timing, considering your boyfriend's probably wondering why you haven't answered his texts today. Jessica freezes. I don't know what you're talking about. Rico Valdez, Richard Vance, whatever he's calling himself this week. I turn my laptop around, showing her Rico's real background check. Did you know he's done this before? 3 times, actually. You're just his latest mark. The color drains from her face, but she recovers quickly. You're making this up. Am I? Check your bank account, Jess. How much money have you transferred to him in the last month? She doesn't answer, which is answer enough. Here's what's going to happen, I continue. You're going to call Claudia and tell her to withdraw these papers. You're going to end things with Rico, and you're going to apologize to me and your father for this whole mess. Or what? I smile, and this time it does reach my eyes. Or I'll show Rico's other sufferers how to find him. I'll show your Instagram followers who you really spent last weekend with. And I'll show your father exactly how much of his little girl's trust fund went to financing your boy toy's lifestyle. Jessica stares at me like she's seeing me for the first time. The mild-mannered tech husband is gone, replaced by someone much more dangerous. You wouldn't dare. Try me. She leaves without another word, and I hear her car, Derek returned it while we were talking, peel out of the driveway. But I'm not done yet. Not even close. Jessica doesn't come home that night. Her Instagram story shows her at Rico's penthouse apartment, drinking champagne and posting cryptic messages about new beginnings and toxic relationships. She's trying to control the narrative, painting herself as the sufferer of an abusive husband. What she doesn't realize is that I've already started controlling a different narrative entirely. Rico's social media presence is impressive but fragile, built on carefully staged photos and fake lifestyle content. It's the kind of digital house of cards that collapses spectacularly when someone with real technical skills decides to push. I don't hack his accounts. That would be illegal. Instead, I use publicly available information and social engineering to expose the truth. A few anonymous tips to local news stations about his business practices. Some carefully placed comments on his Instagram posts from former customers sharing their experiences. A comprehensive review of his car dealership posted on every major platform, complete with photos of vehicles with rolled-back odometers and hidden damage. By Wednesday morning, Rico's carefully crafted image is crumbling. Local news runs a segment about carnivory business practices in the used car industry, featuring his dealership prominently. His Instagram comments are flooded with complaints and accusations. 3 of his ex-girlfriends have connected through my anonymous forum posts and are comparing notes about his methods. But the real masterpiece is yet to come. Jessica's been staying at Rico's place, playing house and posting content about their authentic love story. What she doesn't know is that Rico is panicking behind the scenes. His business is hemorrhaging money, his reputation is in ruins, and the wealthy older woman he was counting on to solve his problems is married to the person destroying his life. Thursday evening, Derek calls with his surveillance report. Your boy Rico is in deep trouble. His dealership is about to be foreclosed on. He's 3 months behind on his apartment rent. And that Maserati got repossessed yesterday. He's been making desperate phone calls to every wealthy woman in his contact list, trying to find someone to bail him out. What about Jessica? She has no idea. He's been hiding the financial problems, probably hoping to string her along until her divorce settlement comes through. Perfect. It's time for the next phase. I've been preparing for this moment all week. Using Jessica's own social media habits against her, I've created a comprehensive digital dossier of her affair. Screenshots of her deleted messages, GPS data from her phone showing her real locations during the girls' trip, credit card records showing the hotel charges, and a detailed timeline of her relationship with Rico. But I'm not going to release this information randomly. I'm going to use it strategically, at the moment when it will cause maximum damage to both of them. That moment comes Friday night at the Scottsdale Country Club's annual charity gala, the same event Jessica bought her designer dresses for with my bait money. Jessica and Rico arrive together in a rented Porsche, making a grand entrance designed to announce their relationship publicly. Jessica is wearing a $10,000 gown and jewelry that probably cost more than most people's cars. Rico is in a custom tuxedo playing the part of successful entrepreneur and devoted boyfriend. They work the room like a team, Jessica introducing Rico to her social circle, while he charms potential investors with stories about his expanding automotive empire. Several wealthy couples seem interested in his business opportunities. I watch from across the room, nursing a whiskey and waiting for the perfect moment. It comes during the silent auction, when Jessica takes the microphone to promote her favorite charity, a foundation that helps women escape abusive relationships. The irony is delicious. Ladies and gentlemen, Jessica begins, her voice carrying across the ballroom. I want to talk about the importance of supporting women who are trapped in toxic situations. I pull out my phone and activate the program I've been preparing all week. Every person in the room receives an anonymous text message containing a link to a private website I've created. The website is called Truth and Charity and features a comprehensive expose of Jessica's affair, Rico's criminal background, and their coordinated plan to defraud her divorce settlement. The reaction is immediate and devastating. Phones light up around the room as people click the link. Gasps and whispers spread through the crowd like wildfire. Jessica continues her speech, oblivious to the digital destruction happening behind her. But Rico notices. He's watching the crowd's reaction, seeing the shocked faces and pointing fingers. His face goes pale as he realizes what's happening. He tries to discreetly leave the stage area, but I'm already moving to intercept him. Leaving so soon, Richard? I use his real name loudly enough for nearby tables to hear. He spins around, eyes wide with panic. I don't know what you're talking about. Sure you do. Richard Vance, age 28, currently facing foreclosure on your business and eviction from your apartment. 3 previous fraud allegations, 2 restraining orders, and a credit score that would make a bankruptcy lawyer cry. The crowd is gathering now, phones still buzzing with notifications as my website spreads through social media. Jessica has stopped talking, finally realizing something is wrong. You're insane, Rico says, but his voice lacks conviction. Am I? Let's ask your other girlfriends. They're here tonight, actually. I gesture to 3 women who've been waiting near the bar. They're Rico's previous sufferers, women I contacted through my investigation. They've been eager to share their stories with anyone who would listen. Rico's face crumbles as he recognizes them. He turns and runs, literally pushing through the crowd toward the exit. But Derek is waiting by the doors, arms crossed and smiling. Rico tries to go around him, but Derek's ex-cop instincts kick in. He doesn't touch Rico, that would be attack. But he positions himself so Rico has to choose between stopping or physically attacking him. Rico chooses to stop. Going somewhere? Derek asks conversationally. Meanwhile, Jessica has figured out what's happening. She's staring at her phone, reading my website, watching her carefully constructed life implode in real time. David, she says into the microphone, her voice shaking. We need to talk. I walk onto the stage, taking the microphone from her trembling hands. Ladies and gentlemen, I announce to the room, I want to talk about the importance of truth and charity. My wife Jessica has been very charitable lately, with my money, with her affections, and with her honesty. Tonight, I'm returning the favor. The room is dead silent except for the clicking of camera phones. Jessica's been having an affair with Richard Vance, a con artist who specializes in wealthy women. She's stolen $50,000 from our joint accounts to fund their relationship. She's lied to her friends, her family, and her social media followers about where she's been and what she's been doing. And tonight, she was planning to introduce her boyfriend to potential investors so he could defraud them the same way he's defrauded his previous girlfriends. Jessica tries to grab the microphone back, but I step away from her. The truth is all documented on the website you've all received. Photos, text messages, financial records, background checks, everything you need to make informed decisions about who you trust with your money and your friendships. I hand the microphone back to the event organizer and walk off the stage. Jessica follows me, tears streaming down her face, her makeup ruined. "How could you do this to me?" she sobs. "I didn't do this to you, Jess. You did this to yourself. I just made sure everyone could see it clearly." Rico has disappeared. Derek let him go once it became clear he was no longer a threat to anyone. His reputation is destroyed, his business is ruined, and every wealthy woman in Scottsdale now knows exactly who he is. Jessica's social media empire is crumbling as her followers desert her in droves. The charity has already announced they're returning her donations and removing her from their board of directors. But I'm still not finished. As we leave the country club, Jessica clinging to my arm despite everything, probably hoping to salvage some dignity, I turn to her one final time. "By the way, your father's business is about to have some problems, too." "What are you talking about?" "Remember that background check I ran on Rico? I ran one on your father, too. Turns out he's been cutting some interesting corners with his commercial properties. Safety inspections that were never done, bribes to city officials, tenant complaints that were illegally suppressed. All documented, all reported to the appropriate authorities this afternoon." Jessica stares at me in horror. "You're destroying my entire family. Your family destroyed itself. I'm just the IT guy cleaning up the mess." We drive home in silence. Jessica crying quietly in the passenger seat while I plan the final phase of my revenge. Because tomorrow, I'm going to show them what a real firewall looks like. Saturday morning arrives gray and cold, matching my mood perfectly. Jessica hasn't spoken to me since we got home from the gala, but I can hear her on the phone in the guest bedroom, frantically calling everyone she knows to do damage control. It's not working. My website has been shared thousands of times across social media platforms. Local news stations are picking up the story. 3 different investigative journalists have contacted me for interviews. But the real satisfaction comes from watching the secondary effects ripple outward. Rico's car dealership officially closes Friday afternoon with a bankruptcy notice posted on the front door. His landlord has started eviction proceedings on his apartment. Most importantly, the 3 women he previously defrauded have filed a joint civil lawsuit against him, with evidence I provided through anonymous channels. Robert Kane's real estate empire is facing scrutiny from multiple city departments. Building inspectors are swarming his properties, finding exactly the safety violations I reported. Local newspapers are investigating his relationships with city officials. His stock price has dropped 30% in 2 days. But I'm not done yet. Not until I've built the perfect firewall around my life, one that will keep these toxic people out permanently. I call Derek and ask him to meet me at my garage workshop. When he arrives, he brings coffee and donuts, like we're planning a construction project instead of the final destruction of my marriage. "You've been busy," he says, scrolling through news articles on his phone. "Rico's completely finished. Word is he's already left town." "Good. What about Jessica's father?" "He's hired 3 different law firms and a crisis management company. But the damage is pretty extensive. City Council is talking about launching a formal investigation." I nod, satisfied. "They brought this on themselves, Derek. I just made sure the truth came out." "So what's next?" "Jessica's been calling Claudia all morning, probably planning some kind of counterattack." That's exactly what I've been waiting for. Claudia Martinez arrives at my house around noon, carrying a briefcase and wearing her most intimidating lawyer outfit. She's brought Jessica's revised divorce papers, along with new attack charges against me and a restraining order that would force me out of my own home. But I've been expecting this move. "David," Claudia says, settling into my living room like she owns it, "we need to discuss your recent behavior. What you did last night was maltreatment, cyberstalking, and possibly criminal defamation." "Was it?" I thought it was just sharing publicly available information. You destroyed Jessica's reputation and her father's business out of spite. I exposed their illegal and unethical behavior. There's a difference. Jessica sits beside Claudia, looking smaller and more fragile than I've ever seen her. Her Instagram empire is in ruins, her boyfriend has abandoned her, and her father's legal troubles are just beginning. I want to make you an offer, Claudia continues. Jessica is willing to settle the divorce quietly. 50-50 split of assets, no alimony, no further legal action. In exchange, you take down that website and issue a public apology. I pretend to consider this while activating the recording app on my phone. That's generous, Claudia, but I have a counteroffer. I pull out a folder I've been preparing all week. Jessica gets nothing, no assets, no alimony, no settlement. She leaves town quietly and never contacts me again. That's ridiculous, Claudia snaps. She has rights. Does she? Let's talk about rights, Claudia. Like Jessica's right to steal $50,000 from our joint account. Or her right to commit infidelity while planning to defraud our divorce settlement. Or your right to help her hide assets from the court. I slide documents across the coffee table. That's a complete financial audit of Jessica's activities over the past 6 months. The shopping sprees, the secret credit cards, the money transfers to Rico's accounts. All of it documented and reported to the appropriate authorities. Claudia's face goes pale as she reads. But here's the interesting part, I continue. Some of those transactions were made using your legal advice, Claudia. In fact, you helped Jessica open several accounts specifically to hide money from me. That's called conspiracy to commit fraud. You can't prove that, she says, but her voice lacks conviction. Actually, I can. Jessica's been very careless with her digital security. I have emails, text messages, recorded phone calls, everything I need to show that you've been helping her plan this for months. I turn to Jessica, who's been silent through this entire exchange. Did you really think I wouldn't notice, Jess? The secret meetings with Claudia, the mysterious phone calls, the sudden interest in our financial accounts? I'm a cybersecurity expert. This is what I do for a living. Jessica finally speaks, her voice barely a whisper. What do you want? I want you gone, both of you. Out of my life permanently? And if we refuse? I smile, pulling out my phone and showing them a video file. Then I release this. The video is from last night's gala, but it's not the public humiliation they're expecting. It's security footage from the country club's parking lot, showing Jessica and Claudia meeting secretly before the event started. In the video, Claudia hands Jessica a small package, later revealed to be a GPS tracker she was planning to plant in my car. They're discussing their plan to have me arrested for stalking, using fabricated evidence and false testimony. This is conspiracy, witness tampering, and filing false police reports, I explain calmly. Felony charges for both of you. Claudia stands up abruptly, her professional composure finally cracking. You're bluffing. Am I? Derek, would you come in here, please? Derek enters from the kitchen, where he's been waiting with 2 other men I don't recognize. Jessica, Claudia, meet Detective Martinez, no relation, and Agent Thompson from the FBI's White-Collar Crime Division. They've been very interested in your activities. The law enforcement officers step forward, showing their badges. Mrs. Thompson, Miss Martinez, Detective Martinez says formally, you're both under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud, filing false police reports, and obstruction of justice. As they read Jessica and Claudia their rights, I feel a strange sense of completion. The firewall is finally in place. Jessica looks at me one last time as they put her in handcuffs. I loved you once, she says. No, I reply. You loved what I could give you. There's a difference. They take her away, and I'm alone in my house for the first time in 8 years. Derek stays behind to help me clean up. You know this isn't really over, he says. They'll get lawyers, fight the charges, probably blame everything on you. Let them try. I have documentation of every crime they committed, every lie they told, every dollar they stole. The firewall is unbreachable. What about Rico? Rico's somebody else's problem now. He's learned what happens when you try to con someone who's better at the game than you are. Derek nods, understanding. So, what's next for you? I look around my house, really look at it for the first time in months. Without Jessica's constant presence, it feels peaceful, clean, mine again. I'm going to rebuild. Better security, better boundaries, better judgment about who I let into my life. Sounds like a good plan. That evening, I sit in my garage workshop, surrounded by computers and electronics and all the tools of my trade. My phone buzzes with notifications, news interviews, social media mentions, messages from people who want to hear my story. But I ignore them all. The story is over. The firewall is complete. Jessica and Claudia will face trial for their crimes. Robert Kane's business empire is crumbling under legal scrutiny. Rico has disappeared, probably to find new sufferers in another city. And me? I'm exactly where I want to be, safe behind walls of my own construction, protected by systems I understand and control. I open my laptop and start working on a new project. Not revenge this time, but something constructive. Something that will help other people protect themselves from the carnivores and manipulators of the world. The website is called Digital Firewall, and it's going to teach people how to recognize the warning signs of fraud, manipulation, and betrayal. How to protect their assets, their information, and their hearts from people who would exploit them. As I type, I think about Jessica's final words to me. She claimed she loved me once, but love doesn't steal, doesn't lie, doesn't betray. Love builds firewalls to protect what's precious, not tear them down for personal gain. I learned that lesson the hard way, but I learned it completely. The firewall is online, the system is secure, and David Thompson is finally, truly free.